Britannia.
Don't be sorry. It's my mental throne. Hey, don't look so sad. Yeah, I know the world is going mad.
You want civil war, but you lack conviction.
Okay, we'll vote for Starman.
You never been intimidated by something you haven't done. You got me, you got you. Don't feel alone. Never feel it's just you. It's not just you. It's not just you. Or it's like a trick of the mind, but it's not just you. We have an army. It's not all the way. We are the people. And we
Command a war, but don't be a cunt.
We have the heart. We have the head.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
I'm having a ball.
They make a course correction for
You, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
Marxist shites with blood on their hands. 100 live there, but for them it's okay. They went to uni, studied home economics. Yeah, that will save the day. They will say we never heard a fly, and you can't call it a lie. They never laid a hand, they never took the land. They just let the people starve in a slave state. The array others who got to work too late. Utopia. Utopia. The prison for the mind. An excuse to make slaves. Utopia. A fictitious state. Freedom enforced.
Good morning everybody, my name's Tom Fury, this is Zero News. Welcome to my small but ever-growing podcast. It's been literally 5 years since I said those words. I used to say them when I first started building my podcast up. I don't know if we're going to get anyone on this morning, with it being a new podcast and a bit earlier. But I did say to you that I would try and get on a little bit earlier when health is up to it, and especially more towards summer, because I know that during the time that I do it, sort of alienates the Australians and Australian girls that come on. So as we go forward, I do want to try and make it a little bit earlier, but at the moment I'm saying between 11 and 12:30 because that's generally speaking when I've managed to get things all together and that, but I am going to try and move it to an earlier slot anyway. And that's if they girls, if you see this, are you actually on this channel? I just want to check, because that's what I feel guilty about. There's no, today I'm streaming to get her. X is still a problem on with this, but I'm streaming to get her, but there's no more streaming to the old Zero News, which gives me a pang of guilt because of the people that are still hanging on there, but I've done everything short of dragging them over, so it's really up to people now. There's nothing more I can do. I cannot afford to waste another slot on Prism or anything else. Keep broadcasting to a dead channel. So I've done everything I can do. But I am cancelling Prison in a couple of days' time, but probably going to get it again because I might get another phone. Anyway, all the preamble out the way. And it just, by the way, if I do preamble like that, part of it is just to get my thoughts in order. Part of it is because I know it takes a little while for people to come on, be aware of lives, especially when I haven't planned it in advance. So that is why I do what I do. Today's a bit of a delicate one because I don't want to call anyone out or anything like that, and that's really not where I'm going. Oh, gee, that was close. It's very, very wet where I am. Captain, is it Benjin? Oh, I'm going to get it wrong now. I just called him Captain, it's simple. The first day that we spoke, and this was the confusion yesterday, the first day that we spoke, he mentioned about when I said, please follow me, please give me a sub. He said, I will, but I will if you're not one of these people that goes out and... Basically what I realised what he meant was, you're not one of these agitators, are you? The people that, and we won't name any names, but the people that go out, confront the police aggressively, and whether it's right or wrong for the police to do what they do, they've been entrapped by the podcaster. They've been put in the position that, yes, maybe they should or shouldn't react to the way they did, but it's entrapment, and it's agitation. And so we were on the same page. Well, this carries on from that. This is a kind of warning to those that would listen. So you've got Danny Tomo doing his thing in France. I got my mic on today, so you shouldn't be hearing too much wind, but let me know if you are. Got Danny Tomo doing his thing in France, right? I'm not slagging it. I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know what he's doing. And you've got Nick Tenkoni that happens to be in... So this is the thing. This is what I'm going to call out. Simply because if you're going to keep a secret, then keep a secret. The best kept secret is the one you don't tell. So Nick Tenkoni's there, getting arrested at exactly the same time. Danny Tomo's going on about their secret third member. Twice I've seen them arrested at exactly the same time, exactly the same night, in exactly the same country, doing exactly the same job. If they're trying to hide the fact that they're working together, they're doing a terrible job of it. And this leads me on to a whole bunch of things that need to be addressed about it. Now again, what they're doing could be a real positive. If they can prove, if they can film and prove what the French are doing, brilliant. If we can have people looking over our coastline and looking over the French coastline and reporting these people, reporting their activities, reporting people who try and aid and abet these people, reporting the authorities themselves and showing the authorities themselves if they don't turn up or if they do something they shouldn't. 100% on board with that. Now remember something, 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, myself and a couple of other guys, you know, Active Patriot being one of them, hey, Active Patriot being one of them, come on. We went down to a place called Pet Level. Not somewhere between where I am now and Dover. Go. And there was, the reason we went there is because it was well known that migrants went in there. Now, we all went with a different plan. I'm not going to knock anybody, right? Nobody didn't understand, what do you call it? Countrysides and beach towns. Active was good at what he did. And me, I kind of knew the beach towns and stuff like that, but there was other stuff I didn't know. And I was a bit wet behind the ears with. So we went to this seaside town, stuck a tents up in place we knew it was the only place we could really stick them, which meant other people would have tried the same thing. So the first thing you've done is in a town of maybe 250 to 500 people, you've set tents up in a place where you can't, you've just upset all the locals instantly. Because if you think then a seaside place that locals won't notice that you just put a tent up, think again. The people that don't see it will know it by that night because the information would have been passed around. Everybody will know you're there by that night. So any element of surprise you've got is gone. If you're going to go, unfortunately, guess what? You're probably best not taking any cover with you whatsoever. You're going to have to sit it out in the cold. Here's the other thing. And I saw a post by Nick Tenkoni saying, and again, I'm not having a go at anybody, it may just be the language used, but my bigger concern, because they're big boys, they can look after themselves, my bigger concern is that patriots want to do the right thing, and they copycat these people, and they don't know the truths behind certain things. So for the few people that listen to me and few people that might share this out, I want you to understand from our experience, not what I think, not opinion, experience, what we found out and why some of the language coming out there has been wrong. And again, why I keep saying you got a secret third man who keeps getting arrested in exactly the same country, exactly the same time as the rest of you, well, I do it. So let's have a look at what they've done. So they've taken pictures of themselves in uniforms for a start, and they are uniforms. And the first thing you've got to ask yourself is, are you there to look good in your uniform, or are you there to be covert, and are you there to try and provide a service? It seemed to me that they were too busy posting pictures of themselves in uniforms on X. So you've instantly put yourself on the radar because you said you're gonna deal with the boats. Now you're wearing a uniform. So you've already put yourself on the radar. That's a fail. That's a massive fail. Yeah, and if we're going to put a tick in the next column, that's a massive fail straight away. As I said, the hiding of the third man, Nick Tenconi, it's so obvious he's the third man that it's not even like an NWO storyline from WCW years ago. It's worse. Like they've hidden it worse than wrestling does. So that's another cross. But the other thing as well is Nick Tenconi said, we were there to confront the migrants coming in. That's very important language, because that's when we start going into the agitator territory, and we'll come to why in a second. And they've sort of made a big deal out of the fact they got arrested every night. Well, yeah, when you dress up in uniform and you announce ahead of time that you're going to stop the boats, guess what? You just turn yourself into a militia and you're going to get arrested. That's how it works. And how someone like Nick Tenconi is as smart as he is, how any of these people could have been so stupid as to not know this, is to make uniforms before finding this out, is beyond me. Here's the next thing. So not only do they get the uniforms on, not only do they announce what they're going to do ahead of time, because they need the credit, but then on top of that, they announce that they live stream it. So they give their location away, and they let everybody know where they are, what they're doing. There's nothing left to the imagination. Now I've got my own, hope that wind's not getting too bad in the way, I'm trying to protect myself from it. I've got my own ideas as to what's really going on, but anything I can't prove, I'm not going to say. So this is what I will say. If you go and do what so we could do with patriots looking over our coastline every single night. If that was a plan, I'm behind it. Same as on the French coastline. But here's what you got to understand. There's a difference between maritime law and the law that literally when you come off the beach changes. However, in both of those scenarios, the moment they turn up on those shores, they got human rights. You cannot confront them. We're going to stop the boats. We're going to confront the migrants. You've just let the authorities know that you are going into a combative mode against people who, unfortunately, whether I like it, whether you like it, unfortunately, they are then, the moment they turn up on that shore, they are protected by a whole bunch of human rights. You can't turn the boats back. If you do so, you'll be arrested. If you confront them, you'll be arrested. You are not a militia. You're not, and this is not a country where you can form a militia. Why is it so demeaning? Why is it so beneath you, any of these people? And again, like, you know, I love some of these people, so I'm not saying this to hate on them. I'm talking about what they're doing. They've had all the chance to learn from other people's mistakes. So it's like, what they could be doing is have a network of people that are watching the coastline, like weather watchers. And they could have all the best gear, the night vision, everything, in an attempt to do one thing: report, 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 report. You see someone coming up in on the beach, you report to the authorities before they can even get to the beach, so they can't run anywhere. You see someone come up on the beach, you make calls to the authorities. You see the authorities not turning up. You see the authorities giving help that they shouldn't be to the migrants. You see local people helping the migrants and trying to commit a crime. You film it. You send it to the appropriate authorities. Let them deal with it. And they will. The best job you can do, and the one that's not going to get you arrested every single night until they eventually either throw you out the country or take away your rights to be near the coast. Yeah, they can do that. especially certain parts of the coastline. If they see you as being in trouble there, they'll just remove you from it. And then what you're going to have is certain people going, we tried folks, but they're so scared of us that they moved us away from the coastline. Which would be partly true. And the other part of it is, no, you keep breaking the law near the coastline, so we just can't let you next to it anymore because you're wasting so many resources. I mean, let's face it, out of 5 or 6 nights, they've been arrested for about 3 or 4 of the 5 or 6 nights they've been there. That's not something to brag about. That is a failure rate, not a success rate. That's a failure rate. So, here's the thing that worries me about all of this. When we were down pet level, a lot of mistakes were made. But we also got a lot of things right and started to get trust of the people there. It's very clear in these seaside towns, they're very split. And people that didn't play along with the narrative of welcoming migrants were having their businesses shut down. So, and you need to be real sensitive of that. If you're not sensitive and you're just going to barge through, people aren't going to help you. But the guy that was running his own service was the one that opened up the most. At first he was the most tight-lipped. And we even nearly had a fight with him. But I was like, that's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here for. We're not here to confront you, mate. Because somebody turned up from, I don't know where from, was mouthing this guy off. And in the end I had to turn around and scream at this guy. You're not invited. You know, this is not what we're here for. To start fucking fights with the locals. Do you know what I mean? This is what it gets like. So I had to throw this guy out, basically. He did come back and apologise. It's not the point. So this guy, who was a fountain of information, who had we allowed this situation to continue, we would have lost all of that information based on one guy's ego. So this guy tells us, with some real authority, by the way, he says, I am a private version of what you call... Shit, sorry. Ripped the mic out. I don't know what you think the name was of this company, but he basically does what Airline does. He's private, right? And he was saying, obviously, there's certain situations where when migrants come in... oh shit, is that mic still working? Hopefully it is. I don't think there's anybody on, so I don't know. If there's anybody on, just give us a thumbs up saying, let me know the sound's working. Anyway, he was he was saying that when the migrants come in, I'm gonna rip now because I don't know if it's working or not. He was saying that when the migrants come in, more often than not, the guy that is running the boat runs the boat. And what you're getting a lot at the moment is reports that the French are helping the migrants into our country. Now, I'm pretty sure that's true to an extent because they've been caught doing it. However, what I've not noticed reported, and this was something that he was adamant was going on, and he was no friend of the migrants, what he said was that in the front of that boat, sometimes they have guns, more often they have knives. So imagine that you've got a bunch of patriots going on the beaches unarmed because they're too stupid and saying they're going to go and confront the migrants, and you've got someone normally who runs that boat who is militaristic, who's prepared to kill babies, who's prepared to kill the people on the boat to survive, and you're going to go and confront him. So you've just put every single person in that situation in danger, and because of your ignorance you're not armed, and nor should you be, to deal with the conflict. So you're going to get a lot of people hurt. This is my point. So, and again, I'm not throwing this at them particularly because I don't know what they're doing. I know there will be copycats that will want to do the same thing. When we went down to pet level, a load of people went down to Dover straight afterwards. And you can do it the right way, you can do it the wrong way. So these people come in armed, sometimes knives, occasionally guns. And what he was explaining was they will dangle the babies over the boat. And they're not bluffing. And the French have found this out the hard way. The French have said, yeah. And then they've gone, right, there's one baby drowned, next baby. And the mums are going apeshit, going, no. But the mums don't have any power on those boats. So he grabs the next baby, holds it over the water, next. They know that the French won't allow it to happen. I'm not saying this happens every time. I'm saying this is eyewitness, been seen multiple times. They will threaten to kill the babies until the French give in. I'm not saying that's every time. I'm not saying it acquits the French of any fault that they may have had. I'm just saying this has happened, and this does happen. What was also reported was there are people that would get off the boats and just run off into the forest. Often believed to be Iranian descent, but no actual proof on that. So these people are coming in armed. They know what they're doing. They know the law. They know maritime law. They know normal law. It's not called normal law, I forget what it's called. And they know that the moment they step foot on that beach, they have human rights. So you may think, well then, go and meet him out in the water. Go meet him out in the water and that will stop it. See how that works out for you. It won't work because you're waiting for them in the first place. Because the very fact that you're a little militia waiting for them, you'll be, again, you've already broken the law at that point. Or at least potentially, so they'll remove you for being a militia and other things at that point. So, what I'm trying to say to people is, not don't get involved, or I'm not trying to be boring and saying there's nothing you can do to help your coastline, there's nothing you can do to help your country. That's not true. That's not true. A network of people across the southern coastline and across France that were reporting every single migrant that they saw coming in, well ahead of the time that they actually hit the beach, would be invaluable, the extra time. The people reporting when the authorities aren't doing their job. The people reporting when people are aiding and abetting these people. The people just keeping a track of how many people are coming in. The people exposing it when nothing is done. All of this is vital, valuable information and vital, valuable work. Yes, it misses the excitement of going and confronting these people. But let me make it clear to you. You may go and turn one boat round if you're lucky enough not to get spotted. Yeah? But if you're on a live stream, yeah, the live stream's a big no-no as well. Yeah, if you're going to commit it on a live stream, your ego's in control. And you're not gonna get away with anything anyway, because you're live streaming the fact that you're doing what you're doing. It's just insane. And that is ego. It's done with good intent, because you want to share what you're seeing live, because it's more exciting live. But that's when the authorities are all over you. So I understand why it's done. I'm not saying it's done, because they're arseholes. It's done with good intentions, but you've just given your position away, you've just given everything away. What's the point? So the best thing to do is understand that these people will be armed. You won't be, if you've got any sense. These people are trained. Most of you won't be. And these people are, if they pull out a gun, now, no matter how much training you got, if they're not at point blank range, there's nothing, unless you're smart enough to unless you're smart enough to dodge a bullet, then you ain't doing nothing to them. So confronting, this is a quote, confronting the migrants on the beach is one of the most insane things in terms of the law and you getting screwed, and in terms of putting people in danger and giving a massive chance of someone getting killed or very, very hurt, or people. And just the fact that it's going to be ineffective. They're going to keep arresting you until they ban you from that area. You can claim that as a victory, but a victory would have been, and would be, and still can happen, would be to inspire the hearts and minds of people across the south coast of both France and, north coast of France, but of Britain via the work they're doing in France, to say, look, we do need to be watching the coast. We don't need to be going and acting like we're in the army and attack these people when most people haven't been in the army and don't know what the hell they're doing. I've not had any military training. Why would I assume that I could go down and face these people? And even if I had military training, I'd probably be wise enough to know the law wouldn't be on my side anyway. Report them, report in, let other people know. By all means, show people what you're seeing from distance, because you can get brilliant equipment that zooms straight in these days. to show you what's coming in at night. Show them coming in live. As long as you're in the right position, the police can't do nothing about it. Like, do what Active did. Think outside the box. Active got banned from filming because he was too close. So he found a place that was a bit more dangerous to film from, but that he chose that danger, and it wasn't that bad, but he chose that, and it was legal. So he went and chose a legal spot to film from. They couldn't move him, and he got amazing shots. And he was also in a position where nobody could say he was interfering. He literally couldn't have shouted to them, and he literally couldn't have interfered because he was too busy compromised where he was filming. But he was doing an amazing job at counting how many people came in, how they were being serviced, how they were being processed. He did an amazing job at it because he was on his own. He was non-combative, and he did a great job. That's what we could be inspiring people to do. Rather than inspiring people to confront people who are armed, trained, dangerous, in a way that, this is the thing, right? It's never going to reward you. If you get stabbed, there's no big money thing coming to you. There's no praise coming to you because guess what? The law wasn't on your side anyway. Yeah, the guy may get in trouble for stabbing you, but you got stabbed because of bravery, perhaps, but also ignorance. Like, if you knew, for instance, that they were carrying a knife or a gun before you went there, I'm sure you think twice about approaching it. That's what I'm getting at. A lot of people just don't know that they're carrying this kind of stuff. And so, it is my concern that people will copycat, not understanding because they're not necessarily because they're not telling you the truth, but in the videos they're putting out, they've not got the time to tell you the ins and outs. So I'm not putting any blame on them because it may simply be that they haven't had the time to tell you the ins and outs. Perhaps that's coming later. I don't know. What I do know is people will copycat now. And we talk about people not being agitators. If you go and confront these migrants, you're an agitator. You're going to give the migrants more rights rather than less because you're going to turn them into the victims. Not only in the police's eyes, not only in the government's eyes, but also in the mainstream media's eyes, but also worse, go, in the eyes of the people. Don't babyface these people in the eyes of the people. Do not babyface these people. If you turn these people into the good guys, and I've seen it, yeah? I've seen migrant hotels where literally everybody was against them, and because of the conduct of the people that went to the hotels, people changed sides. Not because they were for migrants coming in, but because of the behaviour of the people going to those hotels. I think me and Vin watched one where we're like, you can't condone any of this. Because it's basically like, without the tactics and without the ability, it's like an army storming a building, just really badly. You get what you expect from that. And if you get in trouble from that, that's what, there's no badge of honour in getting in trouble. I always used to scratch my head when people say, yeah, I've been in prison 8 times, and then you ask them what they did or whatever, and a burglary. It's like, mate, didn't you figure out after the 4th time you weren't very good at it? Like, seriously, I've known people who've committed crimes and not got caught ever. So, like, yeah, why did you not figure out you were no good at it? But yeah, this is the way people are. So in the spirit of non-agitation, in the spirit of not making videos just for clicks, in the spirit of not riling things up to make yourself look good, just understand something. I've seen creators tell you that they're being cancelled because of their political beliefs, and then it's turned out that they've just broken copyright 3 times. It happens all the time. But you can't. Now, if they were honest, they would show you the letter they got in their creative studio, and it would show you on there, we're removing your channel due to. And it will tell you if it's copyright. And it will tell you if it's for political reasons. Well, it won't say exactly political reasons, but it's obvious. You can read between the lines. You notice a lot of these people don't actually post that up unless they're genuine. So I've tried to say before, we're in a land where I say to you guys, you see us 1% on here is 1% of our real lives. and I'm actually overdoing it. It's probably more like 0.05% of our real lives is on here. We're real people outside this, real worries, real problems, but also so much more goes on. Even when we're trying to be as honest as we can with you, we don't always think to fit everything in. There's so much we forget. It's just impossible to, live life in real time and explain it on here in real time. So, like today I've gone what may seem at Danny Tomo and at Nick Tenconi. I'm not, right? Because the fact of it is, I wasn't there. I don't know what work they're doing. For all I know, they're doing exactly what I've been talking about this morning, and that is observing and recording, right? So until I understand what it is that they've been doing, I'm not taking a shot because I don't know what they're doing. I wasn't there. So it's hard to have too strong an opinion. What I do know is the posts and how it comes across and how people will take it and how they'll think, well, if it's okay for them to do, it's okay for me to do. So what you need to understand is it's not okay for them to do, which is why they keep getting arrested. And eventually they will, I say eventually, very soon, they will get banned. And I think that may be the idea, because then they will be able to come back claiming a kind of victory, which I suppose in a way, they'll come back claiming a kind of victory when actually they went over to a place and got completely banned from doing any work there. So I wouldn't class that as a victory, but some people would. I know that people, when they got banned from Dover, used to count it as some kind of victory, and I used to think, no, we've just lost. And this is the other thing as well. You've seen what's happening around the hotels. They're stopping the protests around the hotels. Why? Well, partly because it doesn't fit their political narrative, but two, because we help them along. We behave really badly around the hotels, which gives them all the excuse they need to try and shut us down, which the last thing we need is to be shut down. And we need to remember this. The government jumps on our mistakes to then bring in a new law to deal with people who are, to deal with people breaking the law. They always use the worst of us to discriminate against the rest of us. So just remember this. If you're, doing this stuff, the clicks and views for you are going to stop very quickly if you're banned from going to all hotels, if you're banned from going all the places that you go and make your clicks and views. You're here not to stop anything. You're here not because you want the conflict to end. You're not here because you give a shit about your country. You're here because your business thrives on all of this clash that's going on now. Well, your clicks and views are going to dry up pretty quick if you're not allowed to go anywhere anymore. So you need to calm your shit down. Because if you start just following the law a little bit, you might find that you'd have the people's support. I'm not talking about Nick Tenconi in that here, I'm talking about other people. Just generally, you might find that you have the people's support. You might find you have the support from other, don't want to name anybody, but other large authoritarian parts of the country, that even councils that might publicly not give you their support, but when we're at a certain place, we found out that there were certain people willing to help, as long as we were willing to keep a low profile, and as long as we were prepared not to break the law or confront people. There are people in councils willing to help you. But if you go in like a bull in a china shop, all those opportunities, all those people that are willing to help you, all of those people that just need to know they can trust you before they give you that information, you're going to miss out on. Because if you go in like a bull in a china shop, you're going to confirm their biggest fears. That you don't give a shit about them individually. They're going to get their business closed down and their family's not going to be able to eat. And you're going to get banned and then go home. That's what their biggest fears are. And we keep confirming them. We keep confirming them. And again, I can't say that Danny Tomo and Nick Tenconi, what I'm saying with them two is, I don't know what they're doing, but the words they put online are inflammatory. And if they mean the words literally, well, then they're making the same mistake. But I don't know. And guys, I'm a member of the UKIP, right? So it's not a case of, I've come on here to shit on some YouTubers. That's not what this new channel is about. This new channel is about moving forward. It's that if anybody is willing to listen to me, and if anybody really wants to do this, do it the right way. Do it the right way. If you want to help your country, you can. It's not that what they're doing is a terrible idea. It's just that you don't need a uniform. Although if that makes you feel good, great. But it's going to get you in more trouble than good, because without a uniform on, you can go anywhere as a member of the public. When you're all wearing the same clothing and it looks like a uniform, you instantly look like some kind of militia or fake police force, which is going to get you instantly a person of interest. So no uniforms, no announcing things, and have a good network of people all the way along that are all watching, all reporting, all talking to each other. It could be a great defence network. It won't stop the boats. What it will do, it will bring absolute light to almost every single one that comes in. Any, same as on the France side, any messing around with not putting the migrants where they should be will be recorded. Any aiding and abetting of the migrants will be recorded. You could do your country a massive service without having to confront anybody, without having to get arrested because let's face it, because you wanted to be John Rambo and get the credit for fucking football tackling a migrant that's just got off a dinghy. Right, those that's really sad, but that's what it really comes down to. That adulation you're going to get from that lasts about 15 seconds, and then on to the next clip. So I am kind of exaggerating a couple of things here, but I'm trying to say it for a little bit of comedic effect. But you get what I'm saying, right? And I'm assuming you got no. I know I'm earlier than normal today, but I'm assuming we've got no one on here this morning, so I kind of expected that at first. And like I say, I'm earlier than normal, so I normally do about 11 to half 12, but I did want to kind of get early, like I say, try and do something for the Australian girls, but I still think most of them are going to be landing between, say, 11 and half 12, until certain parts of my health are absolutely right up to scratch, and when they are, then I will start going earlier. But it's going to be difficult to get people in at first, but I will also remember that I need to set lives in advance. I'm going live this afternoon, I'm going live tomorrow. That does help. So yeah, but I'm finally in a position. This is really good, right? I set up a live stream the other day and I went to cancel it, and I did cancel it, and then I ended up going live anyway and was actually 5 minutes early. That's a great sign, because it means I now feel too guilty not to go live when I say I'm going to. That's a massive step forward to me. That's never happened before. So it kind of says to me I'm in the right state of mind now. The only reason I have had for cancelling a live now is either if the equipment doesn't work, or is if I feel like I've just genuinely got nothing to say. If I feel like I've covered all the subjects, that's one time when I feel like, why am I going on making content for the sake of making content? That's pointless to me. So I won't do that. But to Captain, if you see this, Captain Benjamin, if you see this, you mentioned about helping me out with OBS and stuff like that. Mate, now I know who you are, and it's taken me a bit while to suss you out, and I've got a better idea of who you are. When we both got the time, yeah, as I said to you, I've become more of an all-rounder and less of a specialist as a result of diversifying interests so much. And I hate the fact that I can't say, oh, I'm a specialist in this, but it's what happens. So if you've got a lot more live streaming experience than me, in terms of, sorry, let me rephrase that. If you're better and understand streaming better than me, then by all means I'm willing to learn from you, mate, because I want to be as good as I can be. And if you are better than me at it, which I've got no reason to believe you or not, you don't spend 25 grand on the computer unless A, you got too much money and don't know what the hell you're doing. I've seen a few people like that, but you don't talk like that. Or B, you spent 25 grand on that computer because you knew exactly what you were doing, and we're going to settle for nothing less. That's what I suggest that it probably is with you. So knowing that you might be able to help me get the best out of the equipment that I've got, mate, I would love the help. I really could do with, yeah, just, it's like when we talked about the OBS thing. I kind of blagged you a bit the other day, and I think you realise that's why I said I wasn't prepared to die on that hill. I just kind of went, yeah, I don't even know what it was I said yeah to. And then afterwards I was like, you just said that to shut up the conversation, and you didn't even really take it in properly. And it was because I was trying to get, you know, I remember I said to you, I didn't really want to talk about that stuff. But what would it have taken me to go, I don't know the answers to that. It was just a little bit of, as I said to you, I've dealt with a lot of people who are technical, and then when you find out about it, they're not at all. So I spend most of my time explaining to other people how things work. I don't mind doing that. It's actually quite fun at times. And sometimes it's fun as long as you know they're into it. Other people get totally bored by it. But if you can teach me to be better, brilliant. And I'll be honest with you, the problems I had yesterday, I think maybe a bandwidth problem. And remember I said you can throw files around at 4 gigabits per second. That's great. But yesterday what happened was when I tried to put the headphones and that in to bring Vin on, I started getting a crackling from the headphones from Vin when he was speaking. It wasn't Vin's end. And I thought, I've got USB hubs in there as well, and I've only got 3 USB ports on the laptop, and I thought one's USB 4, you know, the other's a USB 3 point whatever, and I was like, is this a bandwidth thing, or is this picking up a signal from somewhere? So I was trying to plug different mics, everything in, and when I unplugged the mic I thought might be causing the problem, the headphones, it then cleared the problem, and then the microphone just miraculously stopped working, and the microphone was still plugged in. So it was a real mess that shouldn't have happened. With OBS, I expect these kinds of things, but with web-based browsers things, I don't expect it. So I'm more and more inclined to think, why not mix OBS with the other stuff? It's free, and I remember, it's been such a long time since I used it, but I remember when I was using it all the time, it was very, very versatile. It's just been such a long time since I've been any good at it, you know? Yeah, so I'm interested, but it's obviously both of us trying to find the free time as well. But yeah, so I don't know if this video will get out or not. Like I say, new channel, new start, but I'm not trying to have a go at Nick or Danny yet. I say yet because if I find out these other things are true, then I'm not going to stand by them. But I don't know, so I'm not going to have a go at them. It's more that I know people will want to do the same thing, and you need to be under the. They're not telling you what you should or shouldn't be doing. You need to be aware of the fact that you can't go and confront people on beaches. You can't go and tackle them down to the ground. You can't go and do a citizen's arrest. A lot of people think that they're going to go and do a citizen's arrest because the way they figure it is these people are coming into the country illegally. That makes them criminals. That means I can do a citizen's arrest. It doesn't work like that. That's what we thought when we went down there because we were ignorant and just made up our own rules. And what we found out was none of that works. And you'll just get arrested on site for trying any of that bullshit. Trying any citizen's arrest stuff, anything like that. Nah, they're not having it. They're not buying it. They're not stupid, and they will consider you to be I say militia. There's other names they'll use, but all the same sort of thing, you know. And you won't get away with it. And again, we made the same mistake. What do we call ourselves? Border Patrol Force or something like that. Border. I can't remember now. But we give ourselves a little name and all the rest of it, and all of those things were. It's a bit like, I'll tell you what, just before I go, it's an analogy the police made with me with my motorbike. So I had an electric bike, and at the time the legality was in question. So I tried to make it more legal by putting indicators on it, proper brakes for the size of bike. Everything you can imagine, proper lights for the right occasion, everything you can imagine to make that vehicle roadworthy, except for the fact that I was still working out at that point how to get it insured, which you can do, and how to get a number plate for it, which you can do. And while I was going through that, hang on a second, where was I? Oh yeah, I got stopped by the police, and so I told them everything that I'd done, and they actually let me off with it, and they let me carry on riding it. But they told me right there and then, they said, "Look, do you know what mistake you've made?" And I was like, "No," and they were like, "Trying to make it more legal. We get what you've tried to do. We get that you've tried to make this, we get it. We get what you've tried to do, but adding the indicators, adding the extra stuff just makes it look and act more like a motorbike. You've just made it even more of the object you're trying it trying to not allow it to be. The more you make it like a motorbike, the more it is a motorbike, the more you fall into the trap of the rules. So what the police were telling me was you should have left the bike in its natural state, because at least it was a bike. Now you've put all the things on it to make it look like a motorbike. So basically they told me, take all the stuff off it, because all of it's for looks, isn't it? It's all to make it look more legal. Yeah. I mean, it's functional, and I was like, yeah. And they were like, take it all off. You'll get so much less problems. So I did. And I didn't get any more problems. So it's understanding things like that, where you think you are, this is what I'm saying, I'm not having a go at anybody. You think that you're working with the law based on what you consider to be logic, but you may not know the truth. And then, yeah, when the law's explained to you and you hear something like that, you're like, ah, shit, so I've gone completely the wrong way about doing this. So this is not a hate on Nick Tincone. It's not a hate on Danny Tomo. At least they're out there doing something, right? It's about what we talked about with the agitators and stuff like that. It's, you're going to get arrested. What is it? 4 times out of 5, or however many times it's been that they've been out now. You're going to do that when you're advertising where you are, wearing uniforms, keeping people hidden, doing live streams, and telling people you're going to stop the boats, and telling people you're going to confront people. All of those things are enough for them to get arrested for, let alone any actions they may commit on top of that. I'm not saying they're wrong in their intention for what they're trying to do. I'm saying there's a certain way of doing it, and that way is observation, 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 and reputation. Yeah, that is what really will help. I know somebody who is thinking about doing that very thing next year. I'm hoping he might actually either have me with him or have me along the coast from him, because I think that we might be a example of how to do it right. And that is, it can still be exciting, by the way. If some people want it to be exciting, and I get that. It can still be exciting. It's like fishing or something, man, in terms of, you know, these migrants coming in. I mean, it's a real live situation. It is exciting. And when we were down there, it was very exciting. You don't need to add jeopardy to it to make it any more exciting than it is. You don't need to put people's lives in danger. You don't need to put anybody at risk to make it kind of an exciting thing to be, you know, filming in the dark, filming these people coming in, phoning the police, all the rest of it. All of that is kind of exciting enough in itself and provides its own drama. But no one needs to get hurt as a result, you know? So, yeah, and that's all. Oh, by the way, today, this is going to be the first of 3 days, I think. Today, we are due to break. This is the third time this has happened recently, and the second time it's happened in December. So at the end of November, we started getting temperatures of 14, 14, 14, which broke the record in Southampton every single day. Well, today it's going to be 12, which may equal a record. Tomorrow it's going to be 14, which will break a record for the time of year. Monday it's going to be 13, which will break a record for the time of year. Tuesday, 14, which will break the record for the time of year. I think it will break it by about 2 or 3 degrees. Crazy. And then Wednesday may break a record as well. And then from Thursday onwards, we're back more to the closer realms than normal. That's crazy. So I'm sorry no one's come on. I am earlier than normal. I haven't advertised it, and we're on a new channel. And I'm making excuses, but I need to make these excuses because otherwise I'd be really down on myself for it. But I knew I was starting from scratch, and I refuse to start streaming back to the old channel. We have to move on. Sink or swim. This is the way we're going. But hopefully you guys will see this on replay anyway. I might do another live stream later on. I'm waiting really to see on comments back on here, see how many of you are on here. Because I saw Dave came over as well. No, great to see you come over, Dave. So I saw Dave came over. I don't know if Helen and Min have come over. People like that. Once I know we've got the right complement over, I can then work out the times again. I have got a schedule which I've put up for you, but I am going to change that schedule slightly because I've realised the Thursdays that I use for podcasting, I'm usually working Wednesday night, Tuesday night and Monday night to get a podcast right. I'm usually exhausted by the Thursdays, so I'm going to switch it around. Thursday is going to be my day off. So I'm going to write out another schedule for the podcast. And now I can stick to the times. I'm going to have maybe 2 fixed times, and then the rest are going to be as and when. But I will try and let you know in as much time as possible beforehand. And the old channel, I'm going to use for about a month to say, go here, go here, go here. And then I'm going to nuke it from the face of the earth so it doesn't exist anymore. So hopefully we can get as many people from the other channel. Please help me do that. Get as many people from the other channel as possible. Get them over here. Make them realise that this is the home of Zero News now. Shit or bust, it's going to be the home of Zero News. We can get it up to the thousands again. We just got to want to. So, and we do it the right way, the way we've always done it. You know, get out on the streets, do stuff at home, make good videos. You know, we do things from all angles. So we go out on the streets and we get that knowledge, but then we come back home and we make a video about it, which is a little bit more high production and everything else, because we can compile the information we got both from the streets and from doing research. And I think, like, even when you watch like Vin's vids, he may not be doing that exact thing, but in a way he is, because he's like me. He shoots from the hip. So a lot of the stuff that's been going on will go around in his mind, and then he comes out with something very, very sensible, actually, very, you know, compact, but makes a lot of sense. So all of these things that we do, going out in the field, but then coming back and doing research here as well, I think they add to a better all-round picture. Not trying to say we're better than anybody. I'm just trying to say I think in that respect it gives us a better all-round picture. So yeah. Anyway, sorry, I know I'm a bit nervous energy this morning, but I was I'll be honest. Like, this is the earliest morning I've been able to get going in ages, and I didn't know if it was going to go wrong when I got out there, because literally every morning I've been fighting against health. This is the earliest morning. I've been up every morning about 7, but I haven't been able to go recording until about 11 or afterwards. So it's actually great to be able to be up this early. But I may have jumped the shark today. I may have jumped the shark today and got a little bit too early, especially not telling people. So that's on me. That's my fault. Hopefully you guys will see this on replay. I know it's not my best stream today. Like I say, I'm a bit nervous energy today, so please excuse that. But we will do some. I may even do another one later on. It's got to be worth it. It's got to have the body, you know. But there's a few things on my mind. But I also need to write out a list of videos. There's so many videos I want to make at the moment, which is a great thing. But they can all get tangled in your head. So write out a list of the order of importance. But I'd like to fit another live in today at some point. But we'll see how that goes. If I do, I will set it on here. And I'll give you at least a couple of hours notice. So check into this channel today. And if you see a live setup, you know it's going to happen. All right. But I will say that. Check in on the channel first. Because if I'm going to do one, I'll set it up 2 hours early. All right. Thanks for watching. If you are watching later on, if you see this back, thanks for watching. I'm Tom Fury. This is Zero News. Humble beginnings. And call it a day for now.